Good evening, Miss Yenny. My name is Wenny Septiani. I'm from English Retro Student, and for this video, I will present about the short story review for my final test of extensive reading. The title is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and this is my cover for the story. The first is paragraph introduction. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is 1964 children's novel by British author Roald Dahl, and the story features of the adventure of young Charlie Bucket inside the chocolate factory of eccentric chocolatier Willy Wonka. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was first published in the United States by Alfred Knopf and the United Kingdom by George Allen. And the book has been adapted into two major motion pictures. The first is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and the second is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The story was originally inspired by Roald Dahl's experience of chocolate companies into his school days. Cadbury would often send the text packages to the school children in exchange for their opinion on the new product. And at the time, Cadbury and Rowntree were England's two largest chocolate makers, and the Edge often tried to steal trade secret by sending a piece, posing as employees and into the after factory. Because of this, both companies became highly productive of their chocolate making process. It was a combination of the secrecy and elaborate, also machine in the factory that inspired Dahl to write this story. Next is paragraph summary. Charlie Bucket, an 11-year-old boy, is very poor and lives in a small house with his parents and four grandparents. One day, Charlie's grandpa Joe tells him about the legendary and eccentric chocolatier Willy Wonka and all the wonderful sweet and chocolate he made. However, the old chocolatier sent in spies to steal his secret recipe and leading Wonka to close the factory outsider. And the next day, the newspaper announced that Wonka is reopening the factory and has invited 5 lucky children to come on a tour if they find a golden ticket inside a Wonka bar. The first 4 golden tickets are found by 4 unpleasant children: the gluttonous Augustus Globe, Verka Salt, Folly Burrage, and the Micative. One day, Charlie sees a 50% pence piece, the dollar bill in the US version buried in the snow. At each moment, it is revealed that the Japanese ticket was forged. He backed a Wonka bar and Michael closely find the last golden ticket. The ticket says that he can bring 1 or 2 family members with him, and Charlie's parents decide to allow Grandpa Joe to join with him. On the day of the tour, Wonka takes the 5 children and their parents inside the factory, which is a wonderland of conventionary creation that also meet the Ompalums, a race of small people who help him to operate the factory. During the tour, the 4 bad children give into individual pieces, and they are ejected from the tour in darkly comical ways. And with the only Charlie remaining in the end, Wonka congratulated him for winning the victory. Wonka explained that the whole tour was designed to help him to secure a good person to serve as an heir to his business, and Charlie was the only child whose inherent goodness allowed him to pass the test. They ride the great glass elevator to Charlie's house, and the other 4 children each go home with a lifetime supply of chocolate, as well as permanent disfigurement from their misbehavior. And Wonka then invite Charlie family to come and live in the factory. Next, personal reflection. My favorite character was Willy Wonka because he was very true with his word, sold his factory to all the 5 children properly, and also gave many chocolate as a gift. He also used to be very secretive with his recipe, but he did not hesitate in telling the truth or those five children, which I like very much. Next, my favorite part of this amazing short story is when Violet Burrage turned into a giant blueberry after trying the stick of gum, because it is not what you would expect to happen. But this is took me completely by surprise and really had me laughing hard while reading this story. And in my opinion, I absolutely love this short story because it teaches us to not to be so materialistic and get caught up into our own life. This is allow for imagination and creativity to flow through into from on these witty and fun adventures. This is also beautiful written and share many morals you can learn. Next, critical analysis. If you ask me, this is a good story or no? Really, if yes, this story contains the morality of the fairy tale that has been dressed up in an entertaining story. Roald Dahl clearly has a point here, but the reader never feels like he is preaching. He just rejoices in giving the spoiled children the most perfect income, and Dahl has filled this page with some very memorable bad boys, and readers everywhere delight to like with joy and their insane behavior and consequences. Next, conclusion. In best fairy tale tradition, Dahl does not hide the fact that the world can be a gloomy and unfair place. Charlie and Miserable live in poverty at the beginning of the novel reflect to the grim outlook. But that also appeals to children as a sense of natural justice and invite them to have fun in wonderful imagined world where the people good and bad get it right what they deserve. And this is also the place where the genius candy maker creates like edible marshmallow pillow, hot ice cream for the cold days, Coke that keeps you afloat, rainbow drops that let you spit in the six-color river, and at the end, it was just a place for Charlie. That's all, miss. My presentation. Thank you.